Who paid for that hospital? Who paid for that school? Not the state, the Antinoris. Because their youngest son was always Knight of San Stefano of that district. And that was their moral duty. And of course, if you were Knight of San Stefano of Peccioli here, you don't want your boyfriend who is Knight of San Stefano of Tericiola, 10 kilometers away. You don't want him to have a better school than you and a better hospital than you. Because it is actually, it's not you at stake, it's the glory of your family. And your territory is the glory of your family. So it worked so well that we had here in Tuscany the longest life expectancy of all of Italy, and we had the highest literacy rate of all of Italy among men and women. After the merger with Italy, Amerigo Antinori, who was discussing with them what could be saved, said, what do we do with that system? So the Italians said, no, we keep it all, but actually we take the families out, the state will do it. So everything went under the rule of the state, and 30 years after, the hospital was closing. The school for girls had disappeared, we don't know when it disappeared, and the school for boys was so expensive that a normal farmer couldn't send his boys any longer to school. The life expectancy and the level of literacy declined in this country at the end of the 19th century compared with the beginning of the century. So all of that to say that we didn't do necessarily a good deed by turning Italy. But that was all. Amerigo Antinori, of course, after the vote, understood that there was no comeback, so he pulled out of political life, and he focused only on his personal life. I must say he was exceedingly unfortunate in his personal life. He lost his wife very early. He had 4 children. He lost 3 out of the 4. At the age of 60, he had lost his country, his wife, and his children. So he was a complete broken man. He retired in a small house in the outskirts of Florence. He didn't need anything any longer, and he gave all the fortune of the Antinori family to his daughter, Maria. Here in Tuscany, normally, a good father, if gives to his daughter, depending on how many children he has, but between 10 to 30% of the family money he gives to his daughter, and he gives that to her at the time of her wedding. At his death, she won't get anything, but she gets it at the time of her wedding. And so that she can make a beautiful wedding and can start in life well. So Maria Antinori, she didn't get from 10 to 30% of the Antinori money, she got 95% of it. Which means that she had actually the glory of the queen. I mean, because you had other big families, but the other families, they had many children. She was among the heiress. So, and you might have noticed that I say Amerigo Antinori, but I say Princess Antinori about Maria Antinori. Because Maria Antinori became princess because she married a prince. She actually married a Roman prince, Giuseppe Aldobrandini. And the baton at that time were saying in the village, she went to Rome to marry a prince, but with her glory, she could have married the Pope himself if she had wanted to. So meaning she could really marry whomever she wanted. And of course, she was interested in Giuseppe Aldobrandini, and everybody, all the girls in Rome at that time were interested in Giuseppe Aldobrandini. Giuseppe Aldobrandini was an extremely handsome man, a very glamorous man. He was coming from this Aldobrandini family, 2 popes in the family. He was very successful. He was the general of the Pope. And he was the fancy of Rome of that time. And a very nice man too, very nice man too. He was a huge spender, but not only for himself and his lavish lifestyle. He founded various schools for disabled children in the suburbs of Rome. He was a great man. He was a great man. He was a great man, and he had all qualities in the world but one: he couldn't count. And when he married Maria Antinori, he was already riddled with debt to ear. Because his lifestyle was very costly. He already had ruined his own family. You know? So he married Maria Antinori on a huge fortune. And but Maria Antinori, even if she was very young at the time, she was 19 years old, she was not a fool. And she quickly understood that with such a husband, a fortune, how large it was, wouldn't last very long. So she did something possible according to Italian law, but very daring. She claimed our jewelry back. So she claimed our jewelry back. She didn't divorce her, she stayed married, and they were, I think it was a happy marriage. But she called her money back, and she started to manage her own money, not leaving him touch it. Basically what happened, she sent him a check every time he was that close to go to prison for debts. But really managing them just on the survival, he could never touch anything from the continuing contract. She started to manage this estate, and I must say that she managed this estate extremely well. She is the one who converted this agricultural estate into a wine estate. She was very smart. She understood that in the new Tuscany conditions, agriculture couldn't export anymore and was a dead business. But she saw that with wine there was still some money to make. So she focused on the wine making. I will tell you what she was doing. Sometimes a little bit borderline in business practice, slightly borderline, but she managed to have this place prosperous at difficult times for Tuscany, and she made the reputation of the wine here. Another detail about her, which is funny. In 1900, when the old estate manager died, and she had to choose a new estate manager, she chose actually another girl. So this estate was owned and managed by two women for 30 years. So if you hear that Italy is a machist society where women have been abused for years and years, take it with a pinch of salt. Those two girls, they were managing 250 farmers, and very successful. I had somebody one day, a candidate, tell me, oh yes, but she couldn't have done that without the consent of her husband, because a woman couldn't have a bank account in Italy before 1945. I said, really? He said, yes, he was so sure. He said, do you want to see a checkbook dating 1890? Because I have it. And so I don't know what those people are writing about, because all the big works here were ordered by her or by the other woman, Teresa Magdalena, and they were paid with checks signed by her. So I don't know what they talk about. Anyway, please feel free to have a little look here.